Short Rest with Fonzi and Carlo.
Welcome back, ladies and
What?
gents, mostly gents, to
Yes.
season 2 of the Short Rest with me, Fonzi, and my good friend,
Hi,
Car-
I'm
Hi.
Carlo.
It's Carlo. It's
Welcome.
Carlo.
Yes.
The DM Carlo.
Yes.
And yeah,
Hello,
and-
DM Fonzi.
Yeah, what's up? What's up? And welcome back after a short hiatus. 2 months, I think.
Yeah,
Taking
2 months.
it slow, doing other things, mainly farming for ores in the realm of Valheim.
Yes. Instructing other people how to do this.
Yeah.
Shout out to EJ, by the way.
Yeah, EJ and Dane.
Oh my God, Dane. Dane, I love you, Dane. He sends out stars to me. They're like, bro, no.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's a Valheim, also a
Ano na?
Valheim enthusiast.
Oh, nice. So he has also become a Viking now. It's good to know.
Yes. Also, all our brothers in Shield brothers out there. It's been a great early release.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All things
I'm
considered.
waiting for that major update where they I think it's Hearth and Home. I don't know. Pero there will be new housing options. Anyway, speaking of being a Viking and Shield Maidens. Ayun. So yeah, we've been on hiatus pero while we were in that state, we were able to play some games. Mostly for my homebrew, and it was fun. I didn't think you would have that much of an easy time with my adult black dragon, but it's fine. It's fine. I will find a way to kill Jean one way or another. But yeah, we're still we're still doing this. We're still doing our best to do this on a regular basis. And yeah, we see the value in talking about Dungeons and Dragons, especially at a time like this na mukhang, ewan ko like cases are like soaring up. It's over 9,000 nga, sabi ng isang meme.
Over 9,000 level!
And yeah, so I feel na magkakaroon ng lockdown similar to next year.
Oh no.
Which is fucking bad, but yun, that's how the chips fall. And luckily we have our PCs and our friends in Dungeons and Dragons to help us get through it. Right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's rough.
And
it's
yeah,
rough
speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, there has been quite some movement with new things in the realm of D&D, not only in the tabletop setting, but also in the video game setting, which is something that we could, please start talking about that. Like there has been like a very, very quiet research. I wouldn't say presence of D&D in the gaming world, aside from Baldur's Gate, which is not something that is particularly being played, not in the streaming realm and stuff like that. It's just it's interesting that we're getting more D&D based games now. So congratulations to Wizards, finally you're getting your asses moving towards that and appealing to younger audiences, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like that's the You do understand, Fonzie, that as soon as like probably 10 years from now, we'd be the boomers. Back in our day, we used to roll dice to
What are
to
dice?
hit to seduce the tavern girl.
Yeah, speaking of dice, I do have my new setup here in my home. So I have my dice tray right here in front of me, which I don't use for GMing. It's been quiet hiatus for me. In the context of Adventures League, there's been a lot of movement towards that with the return of points system and hours played in leveling up. Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't.
Hindi na siya adventures completed. It's a number of hours now based on the adventure. So we're back to season 8 rules, I think.
I think, yeah, 8 or
Nandun pa
9.
yung
8, 8,
AP.
8. Uh,
Nandun pa yung TP and
mm.
AP and stuff like that. So yeah, we're essentially back to that, as there are some movement going around in adventures. Also, our first Filipino, I think Filipino writer to ever publish an official D&D Adventure in Adventures League. I think Paul,
Paul,
DM Paul, yeah, had his adventure published. So congratulations to him, DM.
congratulations, dude. We hope you get to visit us and take a short rest as well.
Yeah, that's definitely a
It
possibility.
would be nice to have someone with a particularly high amount of clout in the Dungeons and Dragons realm.
We're, well, I'm assuming that if since you're in the Dungeons and Dragons realm, you don't have clout. That's why you're here. Kidding.
Dude, savage.
That's kidding.
Double kill.
Yeah. Well, the DMs are super generous of their time, so I'm sure it won't be that hard to secure someone to interview maybe in the future. We haven't really talked about inviting guests over, and so far the
Yeah.
guests that we've invited have shown up, except for
Yeah, and
one.
they've been very gracious then, man. Miles has been starting streaming na rin. So,
Yeah, DM Miles,
streaming na rin, which is really
congratulations.
cool. Yeah, wish I had a voice as deep as his. Anyway, sorry. What we talking about? Yeah, just Dragons news. So, I guess going back into the going back into the realm of video games, diba? We both know that a lot of video games have been influenced talaga by D&D. Mostly in terms of the lore, some of the monsters. One case in particular is the Tarask of StarCraft. Um, that's not necessarily heavily influenced by the 5e lore of Tarask, which is influenced in turn by a French literature monster also known as the Tarask. Pero yun, yeah, I'm hoping that D&D does progress to a point na it doesn't lose its specific how should I say this? It doesn't lose its specific identity. Kasi nga, so maraming video games that are based on like the D&D setting, right? So parang yun lang naman yung ano ko, parang how can we tell if it's still a D&D game? And in my mind, it's like, it's still turn-based. Pero considering na marami pa ring turn-based games, like we have Baldur's Gate, we have yung isa, Divinity, yeah. So parang I'm wondering how can a Dungeons and Dragons game become in itself a video game without necessarily without being so heavily dependent on the setting. So parang nakikita ko dyan, parang Forgotten Realms, right? The Faerun, you just walk around in the realm of Faerun. Pero parang it's hard to imagine, and I'm hoping that specific game that's coming out does justice to that, diba? Although I would love to,
Yeah, I doubt it though. The Dark Alliance the Dark Alliance D&D. That's what the game is called. It's more of a hack and slash sort of thing,
Yeah.
and it's not complete in terms of all the roles that you can play. So I think it's limited to only a few. There's a rogue, I think. There's a ranger, I think. But you don't really get like fighters and stuff like that. And what's difficult to, I think, what makes D&D good is just for its ability to go outside certain, rules that you would necessarily, program into a program. Sometimes you stretch that and do something unpredictable, like teleporting out of nowhere, or killing an NPC. That's definitely one of the things you can do, to derail a story, for example. I think like the closest, perhaps, no, na parang one of the closest or the more free games that I've played in terms of like NPC and stuff like that. Maybe Witcher, maybe Skyrim. No, not really Skyrim. Because in The Witcher, when you kill an NPC, certain quests are
Get
no longer possible.
get cut off. Oo.
So parang ganun siya na type of tree line, but I guess it's fairly difficult to think of a game that can give
That much.
yeah, Dungeons and Dragons justice. I think that's why it's still here after so many decades.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
why the only improvements to the game is just more content
More
that
content,
is being
definitely.
available to. I think the game system works. It's just that COVID sucks, and I miss actual games
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So maganda pa rin yung D&D is still pretty solid.
As it is,
Yeah.
pretty timeless yung design niya, no?
Yeah, and I think more and more platforms like Foundry and Roll20 has seen some improvement and up, updates to the Steam game. I forgot the name of the Steam something. There's a
Mm.
virtual tabletop at Steam. I think as more tools come into that can replicate the setting of D&D, I think that's the direction that the video game should go and consider. Like Roll20 is a very decent platform, but if you look at it like in the context of you know video games, it's miles away.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I think ang tawag nga doon sa app na yon is the virtual tabletop, right? So parang you just have a counter tapos if you have battle, you have maps. Yeah. So parang ano like yeah, Roll20 is pretty far away from it. Pero yeah, when you think about it, parang I guess that's how like in terms of graphics and stuff, it can definitely still improve. Like in terms of the visuals that people are seeing. I mean, of course, nothing beats having a mini, right? And having a laid out battle map. Hindi naman Dwarf and Forge levels, but you have a mini and some dice there. Parang nothing beats that. Pero ayun, di ba? If you're going to go virtual, might as well go ham and make it look really good. Pero yeah, yeah, it's just a thing that I hope Roll20 din gets to improve upon.
True.
I've experienced Foundry for a very short time. I'm not sure if it was with DM Miles in that huge ano
The
tawag mo
Epic.
sa in the Epic.
Hmm.
Pero it's pretty cool around the lighting and stuff. I know the same can be done for Roll20 pero parang in terms of, whoa bro, it feels like a video game and not just a browser service. If you can understand that. Pero yun lang. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think the focus, like for D&D in terms of games and Foundry and stuff like that, I think they should always maintain focus on the DM and how the DM can use all these tools for
Mm.
for quality of life, for prep, and for stuff like that.
Mm-mm.
Like even me, like I use Roll20 because it's easy if you buy off the marketplace.
Mhm.
But aside from that, I don't really like to use other apps. Like Foundry was something that I bought, but eventually did not get to use because it took so much time to prep, and that's something
Yeah.
that I'd rather do because you already prep so much, preparing the adventure and stuff like that, and also add have to add additional more time to
Mm.
generating maps. That's
Yeah.
something that I'm not really good at anyway. So I'd
Same.
rather not do that.
Yeah.
So parang so there are things like reusing maps and stuff and just drawing like a virtual map and stuff like that. That's really key. But I think like as we develop more insight into how virtual tabletop is being enjoyed, I think the more intuitive the platform would be for Dungeons and Dragons and for DMs for prep, the better the platform will be. overall.
Yeah,
Parang if that
I
makes
agree.
sense. Yeah. So
But yeah, just
like how was diving in back to Roll20 for you? I know you ran some games for us. How was
mm.
that experience for you in terms of prep? What did you notice?
Honestly, well, you know naman with the quality of production that, okay, just slap a map in there, put in their characters, and have the encounter happen that way. It's pretty much, it's pretty simple for dumbass like me, di ba? So parang, I tried to get to into a level na, okay, I use the layers and have traps in some of them.
Mm.
Which you guys managed to one time trigger, and there's a trap there. I put it in there. As you can see, I just didn't make it up on the spot. Pero so ano siya, parang it's okay. It's pretty like lalo na for someone like me who just wants to who wants DM and have a map there primarily for combat purposes. It's easy. It's just you just do that, diba? Pero I haven't really gotten into the detail of how the map looks like, or like when you're presenting what the certain particular NPC looks like. I haven't gotten to that yet. Like I want it all to be a theater of the mind. And a part of me wishes na maybe they have that maybe they can give me that kind of feature. Parang I'll just design my NPC from they give me options on how to design them. Right? Tapos parang, this is what he looks like. Pero parang syempre, iba pa rin yung parang the players will create the picture for themselves, and each one has their version of what kunyari si Gilbert looks like or what Esmeralda looks like. So parang, I don't know. For me, I would prefer it to be yung I would prefer it to be yung how the player character or the player sees it. Pero okay din lang kung merong feature ang isang virtual tabletop to design it. This is what he looks like. Okay din lang if the community comes up with with that kind of with artwork that can represent him. Diba? So wala lang. Again, I leave it all to the imagination. And it's been yun nga, parang I use Roll20 primarily for combat lang. So I really have no qualms. May mga times lang like for other players then they experience like lag issues either due to internet connection, and sometimes in general Roll20 talaga crashes. So ayan, for the past few games naman I don't think we've encountered that. I'm not sure about about the others, but I haven't. So maybe Roll20 realized na lockdown, we kind of have to buff up our servers and stuff. So parang I hope they did that na.
Yeah, and like particularly yung we were trying to record the game, right? In Zoom and Roll20. How was that experience for you? Did you find it okay to run, or was it difficult?
Honestly, no na hindi naman. Not how should I say this? There are instances where I was such a dummy na napapakita ko yung sa inyo yung HP niya, details of the details of the monster. Pero we got through that really easily by just just ang tawag mo doon, having yung yung mga characters nito, just have it pop up para di makita yung stats nila. Yung last episode that we have, parang okay, so medyo I don't want to share the screen, pero I understand that will be used for the video. Kaya I ask you to share your screen instead. Kasi parang nandun yung dark diba? So parang di nyo alam where the creature is coming from. So that one was particularly tricky because firstly, I didn't want you guys to I didn't want to spoil the experience for you guys. So, pero at the same time, syempre, we have something to record. Parang ako naman, okay lang. I would prefer yung players ko. So, kaya I asked you to do it na lang para hindi ko ma-reveal kung asan yung yung monster. So, alam mo yun, parang it works naman. It's okay. Pero, yun nga parang you just have to find ways around it. If you're lazy like me, parang whatever, just slap it on there. Syempre, some details will be missed out, di ba? So, wala. Ayun. We managed to work around it lang.
Yeah.
And it's still really good na yung Roll20. Nga lang, with
Yeah.
Zoom,
Yeah,
yeah.
especially if you're recording, I think Zoom works because especially if considering no, if just imagine if everybody in the table had decent mics, had good cameras and stuff, the experience would be much better. I feel
Yeah,
like so
yeah.
especially in a recording sense, na parang alam mo yun, less noise, better somehow audio and video
Mm,
quality. So I think
yeah,
that's really something worth
yeah. Yeah,
enjoying.
mm.
Yung
Iba pa rin talaga kapag kita mo yung face ng player, di ba? You
yeah, I
have so
think
you feel like their eyes you're looking at.
yeah, the lesser uh, the thing with technical difficulties is parang especially for me parang nare-remind ako na parang oh there is a barrier between me and my immersion here. So
Yeah.
my own immersion to my own world is important to me. So I don't want to get distracted by technical
Tech.
difficulties,
Yeah.
which is something that I ano parang especially like for example if we have games like via Discord or Zoom and stuff and it's so easy for other players to check out, parang alam mo yun, parang tab alt tab and stuff like
Tapos,
that,
okay, anong
or
HP
just
namin?
step away from the game, tapos
Mm,
kung alam mo yun, those instances I don't like to I don't like them in my games because I get
This
so
is why
distracted.
this is why I appreciate you guys talaga having being in front of the camera. Alam mo yun? I understand yung iba hindi kasi they have very limited connectivity. They have like limited connectivity and stuff, and some don't plain don't have the facilities. Pero yun, kaya appreciate those players na parang I'm in the camera, makita ko here because I want to be immersed, I want to be in the game. So wala lang. It's something that I appreciate with players kasi they know na if they're not in the camera, they'll probably search something. Or grab something while that was be around when combat lang.
Yeah. So yeah, so have you are you thinking about running AL this season, or are you thinking of skipping it?
I mentioned that I would, pero considering how stuff looks like right now, I baka I don't know, I'll skip muna. I wanna mostly because I wanna focus on the homebrew.
Yeah.
Like after that homebrew, probably a year from now, until you guys get to level 20 and fight the big bad. Ayun na,
You're
I'll
waiting
consider
you're waiting for level 20.
Yeah, dude. I believe you guys are already at like level 11, level 8 or
Oh,
something.
level 9.
Yeah, so you'll be fine. So, yung susundan naman natin for my homebrew is I'll just let you know if you guys level up. And parang every other session you guys level up.
Yeah, we do.
So,
We do.
there's always been there's always been a very tough encounter, relatively an encounter that you guys go through. So,
Yeah, I think with that it's just a symptom that the players in your table are really like combat, because parang that's where we get new stuff when we level up. But in terms of like if you have a group that is more into RP, I don't think they'd mind not leveling
yeah.
up. But I mean, like which and you kind of know if they're not really into RP because there are so many RP opportunities and parang isa or dalawa lang yung
Tell me
nagsasalita.
about it. Like,
Parang,
ano
okay.
na. There are some people talaga na like, so far I'm just, this is me as a DM, I don't know lang about your observations. Pero, far as I'm concerned, I'm glad the majority of my players in the homebrew are very RP-centric. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. pero ayun nga, luckily, sorry, I keep mentioning my homebrew. Ano ba to? Parang ano na sa ulo ko. Pero, luckily, the next homebrew will not be very encounter-based. It's going to be very heavily RP, mostly because it's going to be a mystery, a mystery theme na. So you guys are gonna go around detecting stuff as detectives in the land of Iceguard.
Hmm.
So yeah, good luck with the fighter and all the ano.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
And
guys are gonna
marami
do a
lang,
lot of
and
talking.
for example, for checks, right?
Mm-mm.
For I see this a lot in the games we have.
Mm-mm.
Parang we don't really use the proficiencies that we have based on the activity that is being required by the game. I don't think that
Mm.
it's a very for me it's a very indicative. It might be indicative of parang for the lack of experience maybe, which is true naman talaga, like our players are relatively new.
Yeah, they're new.
So parang like for example, a fighter, you don't really expect the fighter to go investigating. That's not what fighters do, right?
That
So
fighters fight.
fighters fight. So in terms of like perception and stuff like that, that's they're not really proficient in it maybe. So only use the things that you can, that you're proficient in, right?
Mm-mm.
Kung 'di ba, it doesn't make sense for a dumb guy to go investigating. It's not
Mm.
parang you're just looking at things and maybe I'll just go around and smash some things. Would that be okay? So that's more in tune with your character rather than what you want your character, and just basing it off pure luck na lang sa rolls. And ganun na lang din.
Yeah.
So that's probably one of the things that I'd look at siguro in the future in terms of like really for players to really zone into their characters to just use.
Yeah.
Are you proficient in it? Then,
Is this something that your character would do? Diba? So yun, perfect example. Okay, so you guys are gonna go ask people some questions. I'm a fighter. Could I go to the local tavern and pick a fight? So dyan na, dyan na papasok no, that's not how we do. we don't look or ask for fights, bro.
yeah. Or just or just ako din siguro like for the next game or whatever, I'd really like my players to parang take the reins in terms of where the story is going.
Mm.
And I think like for the next portion of Barrio Alonso, for for talking about my homebrew now, in case you
Mm-mm.
didn't know, my homebrew has been following a certain path. Alam mo yun,
Linear
parang
ba? Oo.
na that masabi ko naman na parang I didn't really force you guys to take that path kasi you willingly went through that and you could have chosen other paths naman. Parang how it went ba parang very smooth yung pagka what I intended for the party to do, they did.
Yeah.
So parang ganun. So although I did prep for other possibilities, pero yung pinaka I know the players, they might do this. So yun talaga. Yun talaga yung ginawa niyo, which is nakakatuwa for me because okay,
Yeah.
tama yung prep ko. So maybe for that yung what the question what next is always difficult to answer for a player kasi they always look for direction from the DM.
Yeah, that's a thing, no? Di naman nung objective namin, parang
I don't know.
there are some players na ganyan di ba? Parang,
So it's
okay.
difficult. Yeah, it's difficult. I feel like downtime is not something that is relatively done din sa games kasi we're so used to AL having sets, objectives and stuff like that. Pero in terms of downtime episodes, parang wala masyadong nangyayari. Talk to an NPC, stuff like that. And, like,
Yun actually yung parang downtime episodes natin. Di ba? Just talk to NPCs. Parang quote-unquote downtime.
yeah.
And then pwede yung level up opportunities eh.
Yeah, or world exploration, or like quests should always be available at a certain extent for lalo na if you're taking a break between main story points, and there should be activities for the players should they look for them.
Yeah.
Pero the keyword is should they look for them. So dapat sila yung naghahanap what else can we do? Okay, can we go to a tavern and look at like job posts and stuff like that? Sure, you can. Yeah. So yeah. So that's an interesting thing. Like for foreshadowing of what Barrio Alonso will be for the next session is you just came off from a big fight that you managed to stave off the enemies and send them into retreat. Okay, what now?
Mhm.
What's next? So yun yung
Ah,
that's really just the question for kasi you're almost at that point of you're almost at that finale point for the
mm,
story kasi I just intended this to be a parang a tier 2 at the very most na campaign. It doesn't
mm.
make sense for me to have tier 3 characters in in
Tier
the
2
real
ones.
world
Yeah.
because you'd end up as gods and stuff like that. So parang
Ang ano doon parang naiisip kong ano, okay, so after the fight, check on the wounded, see how we can upgrade yung guns ng kakampi natin. Alam mo yun, parang I forgot. No, I didn't forget. I actually know na I'm a gunslinger and parang there must be something that we can do. What my character would at least do just so they can help us get out of this world and back to our fair. Anyway, ayun. So in that way, I'm thinking about what I'm going to do as a character, and it doesn't necessarily have to align with your parang the main story. That's parang yung side quest na pwede kong gawin. So yeah, you're right when you said na depending on what the players want to do,
mhm.
what should they be doing? Ang ano ko doon, what would my character do in being in an inglorious bastard? It probably
Parang a good representation of this kasi na-remind ako sa Valheim games natin. Like
Mm.
in between quests, right? Or in between objectives, we spend so much time just preparing for things.
Yeah.
Sometimes going on tangents. Parang especially I think we were preparing for that boss fight, yung bone mass thing boss fight.
The third one.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
spent a considerable. Well, I spent a considerable amount of time just preparing potions and preparing armor, preparing bone and arrow, collecting
The
wood.
armor, bro.
So yeah, so in between that, parang maraming nangyari for me to prepare, and I over prepared for it. And after bone mass, parang okay, now what? Oh, we look for the next boss.
The
Parang
mother
ganun.
one.
The mother boss. So parang ganun. What do you do in prep for that, knowing that there's a threat?
Actually, I think the perfect rin, parang we've both finished na yung we've both finished the 5 bosses in Valheim, di ba? Parang what next, right? So parang it's that question So right now, I'm just helping people out, helping new players out with whatever mining and instructions they need. Sometimes nagiging body retrieval ako, agent ako. You lost it over the sea. Come on, I'll bring a longship over there. Let's go grab it. Parang you're right there. It's what do we do now? Right? So parang it's really that kind of it's really that kind of question when it comes to downtimes. And I mean, they're wonderful opportunities for the characters to reveal something about themselves or to learn something about themselves,
True.
right? Outside of okay, we have to fight this dragon, we have to fight this bad guy, we have to find the criminal. Parang okay, so we've done that. Take a breather. What now?
Mm.
This is a story-based campaign. This isn't necessarily a shoot 'em up or a beat them up. So come on, story, guys.
Mm.
I'm using story as a verb. So story, guys, start storying.
Yeah, the thing I've learned about, I went to improv class when I was younger, is sometimes we're given motivation, and that's all that the director gives us, and we have to create a story as we go. And sometimes you're not given material, parang you just have to listen and create, right? And listen and react and stuff, and a lot of that also should be introduced then in the realm of tabletop role-playing games kasi like looking at how Matt Mercer is DMing the campaign 2 is
Yeah.
more it's giving the players more leeway to create their own path, to find their own story. As compared to campaign 1 na parang meron na talaga siyang specific events in mind. Like yung Briarwoods, um, meron siyang yung Chroma Conclave and stuff like that. So meron na siyang mga events na nakaplano. For campaign 2, parang I don't think he had, although meron siyang mga elements or pillars in place, pero I think the story is something that the players uncovered as they were adventuring. So parang maraming ganun. So kaya medyo nagtataka ako sa parang sa different type of story telling for campaign 2. It's more of a Snyder cut. Yung campaign 1 was more of a Marvel movie. So parang
is it because it's Snyder cut because holy fuck, it's so dark.
Yeah,
Just
tapos
people
parang
hanging off the sun tree. What?
yung naman, yung the Marvel movie, yung campaign 1, because parang meron na siyang na-identify na challenges for the players. So parang naka-formula na for a classic D&D campaign.
Setting, yeah.
Parang may BBG, may challenge si players, tapos kailangan nila mag-collect ng, alam mo yan, parang the whole hero arc is there.
Yeah.
We find out
The
more about
Infinity
themselves.
Stones.
Alam mo yun? So there is a parang a I forgot the name, pero there is something that was created by a creator of Harmon Quest. I think Miles was talking about this before. Parang how the arc of a hero should be, like finding himself,
Hero's journey, parang ganun.
Like and I think mas apparent siya sa campaign 1 rather than campaign 2. Whereas sa campaign 2 kay parang what is going on? I don't understand. Sometimes parang what's the objective here? I don't understand. So, madalas yung nangyayari sa games nila that I can see them realigning. Yung players sa parang, okay, anong gawin natin next? So, magkaroon sila ng meeting. Tapos, realign nila yung anong pwede nilang gawin. Tapos, So, that's something that happens to our games as well at a certain
Can
extent.
I say something pala about campaign 2? In terms of what the characters are like? I'm not sure if they, pero parang Vox Machina versus hindi naman versus Vox Machina, yeah, you're right, parang they're heroes, as in talaga, they've established that campaign 2 isn't finished yet, so we don't know what the Mighty Nine is going to be like. Sorry, naging Critical Role podcast. Joke lang. It's quick lang to. Parang napansin ko, yung sa campaign 2 is very what the fuck. And parang yung moment na that stood out for me, that tells me na this isn't your average hero story, was when spoilers pala for episodes those who haven't seen, was when Caleb brought out yung artifact na to the supposedly opposing the opposing faction doon sa realm na yun, right? And like, okay, so this, what the fuck's going on? Parang, how is this going to affect everything? And parang, doon ko nakita na, whoa, okay, this world, things gonna change. Like, okay, Matthew, you probably have some stuff, pero now that this happened, ano na ngayon? So parang that's one of the best examples of players really shaping up their world and talaga. And really being a part of that story. Anyway, sorry, that was a tangent lang. Go on.
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah. So, just expounding on that, parang marami mga events din na parang what is going on? Or ano gagawin nyo? Okay, nangyari yun. Okay. Like, certain, I don't know how far you are in the story. How far are you?
I haven't. I'm not updated. I'm gonna be 100.
I'm pretty updated. So, parang I like to watch, and the frustration is there also for me as a DM, parang, and watching the players struggle with, and some of the players still don't know what their characters. Parang nakakainis mo, oh my God, what is going on? So
parang, we talking about Yasha or dalawa lang nakikita
kong characters. Not talking about anything. Didn't say it. Didn't say it. Alam mo yun? Pero there are things like that no na parang there are I guess there are always going to be players like that who don't really know their characters. Parang they
A
don't know
busy
enough.
schedule, I guess. So,
Yeah, or parang nakakalimutan lang nila. Alam mo yun, parang low
teka,
table
cleric
IQ.
pala ako.
I call it low table IQ.
Table IQ. That's...
Parang like in my case, parang I see myself as a decent player na parang I know my stuff relatively and I plan things ahead of time. Lalo na kung combat, tapos lalo na kung like if I see our group in a certain situation, parang I think of steps of how to
Ring general
get
ka,
out of it.
kumbaga. You don't
So,
just think about your own.
Parang I don't know, pero that's how I think about battle. That's why I don't like PvP kasi parang I think about certain elements na parang it's not just about skill, it's about
About the objective,
about outsmarting or thinking about how to turn the tide. Parang ganun.
Strategy over talent all the time.
And we see players na parang ilang sessions na sila tapos oh my god, parang alam yung character nila. Okay. So parang ganoon. So I think it's more of like I don't know, it's just low table IQ, I guess.
You have to parang if you've been playing D&D for a long time, you should know by now that this table isn't all about you, diba?
Yeah.
There are other people that you have to consider even outside of the game, right? So parang ano lang doon, showing up on time, bringing snacks, ganung klase ano.
Yeah, and choosing overly complex characters just because you want to stand out. And parang and it's weird kasi ako I rarely play other races. I only have and the races that I have are races na parang I know. Like and are not really super complicated. Like I wouldn't even touch the ASMR because I don't understand it. Parang I don't understand the origin of the ASMR and how it works contextually. I don't understand like how they fit into a society when they're seen as celestials, and alam mo parang weird sa akin parang they're outliers to me, so I don't really understand their purpose in society.
Yeah.
But how they fit. Yung ano naman Kenkus are fairly easy to understand kasi they're comical but they're also kind of like very parang diabolical in a sense. Like goblins maybe they're outcasts, so they're easy to parang play or whatever. Humans are the best because I can relate.
We're all human.
and to see people go into players go into accepting roles that are a little bit above their proficiency is is a struggle for me to watch as well. Kasi parang this is like it's like watching a young driver pilot an F1 race.
He's gonna die.
Parang, yep. You don't know your potential.
Let's see how this thing crashes in flames.
So yun lang din talaga, parang it's frustrating. Sometimes watching their D&D is frustrating, but it's entertaining. Pero parang what?
Is that what the Celestial would do? Is that what I've only played an Asimar once, and that's with my cleric.
Yeah,
so
I don't understand
nature helps stuff.
I don't really understand them. Parang I don't get it. Kasi if you can play Azamars, then you should. And I think their opposites would be Tieflings.
More or less. The Tieflings have a more demonic lineage, but that doesn't mean that they're born of demons. Ang Asimar parang In my mind, yung mind canon ko for Asmar. Okay, so an angelic or a celestial being went down, was born in the heavens, maba siya, hooked up with a mortal, and then there, wala, Asmar. Then umakyat ulit siya, nag-ditch yung celestial.
You
So
met
parang
an,
yun yung mind canon.
yeah, you met an ASMR in my campaign, by the way. Sa bar
What?
yun. So, yeah, you did.
Huh. Wait la, is it
It was way back episode 1, I think.
episode 1? Okay.
Episode 1 or 2.
Di ba si Aling ano yun? Si Aling Nena. I forgot yung
Yeah,
character.
there was a Lola there who
Yeah,
was
yeah,
sleeping
yeah.
with a woman with a child who had
Yun
wings.
yung Asumar, yung child.
Yeah.
Right? The wings. Yes, I remember now. I remember that. But bro, why does he have wings?
So yung
Why is he here?
yung portrayal ko sa kanya was a little bit aloof. Tapos he was very protected kasi he is being seen as a celestial being. So parang yun yung okay, parang in terms of like D&D, like you're a son of a god, okay?
Mm-mm.
What is your role in society?
In a way, parang ano siya, parang quote unquote, he or she doesn't belong here as an Asimar. So yeah, I get that. So really, yung build up mo ng character na to is from the characters surrounding him, right? So
Yeah.
what would they do?
Like it
And
makes
the character.
sense. Like siguro sa Faerun, they're just used to it. Marami na siguro masyadong horny angels.
I mean, people are getting it on with orcs back there, do I? Like, okay.
All right, half orc.
Mm-hmm. Elves, you understand. Orcs, okay. Someone got really drunk, or they just have a really weird thing for orcs.
And that's why I appreciate in reading, yung The Legend of Drizzt, the novels.
I haven't. Do
Um,
they have an audiobook for that?
They do. That's what I'm listening to actually. Yung audiobooks na. Legend of Drizzt, parang they talk about yung drow. We don't really talk about the drow, right, in our campaigns. Parang I don't think we've ever
We haven't had that.
on the drow yet. But they're pretty interesting. They have a pretty notorious reputation in Faerun. And it's interesting how different races and racism falls into, and what the reality racism is in Faerun, and how they embrace racism, because racism for them is not really a negative thing, it's just the truth. Alam mo, parang dwarves are secretive and they're assholes. It's their racial trait, so parang it's just a part of them, di ba?
Yeah.
Aside from us, na humans tayo lahat, iba lang yung color ng skin natin. It's not really a race thing, right?
It's a genetic trait. We just have darker skin.
Assholes.
Just us being assholes to each other. Actually, yeah. Like,
Parang,
I think this stems from the fact na, okay, so just because you have this color, just because you are of a different, doesn't mean you have lesser rights or equal. Anyway, let's not get into that.
like, hindi naman siya like D&D, like you're an elf, so you have you can live up to this long, and you have the ability to see in the dark, right? Being Asian doesn't necessarily mean you're better at math. We have no advantages being Asian. We have just a difference in how we look. That's it.
Yeah, we just like eating rice, I guess.
It's not really a race thing. I don't know. I'm stupid. So
I'm humble enough to admit that I haven't gotten into enough studies about the of racism anywhere. It's there.
Yeah.
And we need to curb inequalities and people being assholes to each other.
Yung sa akin lang din, like, I understand like how people are very passionate about it.
I do too.
But to carry that over to D&D and how D&D is written, it's kind of like, parang hindi masyado akong baka, I can't really invest in that. I don't see I don't know. I don't really understand it enough to invest in
I
it.
think I'm not sure, pero there's this article that I saw na hindi ko binasa because I don't know, baka clickbait, parang Wizard is addressing racism, quote unquote, in the world. I'm like, how? Why did I not read this
I
nga
think
pala? I'm worried.
parang I've read about it very lightly lang, but I think it's just about orcs, and relatively how orcs are portrayed as being evil.
Ah,
So, so parang if you're an orc, you're automatically evil. Parang ganun siya.
um, but di ba we've delved into the legend of the orcs? O baka half orcs yan. Half orcs meron, they can still tell the
No, just
difference between good and
the
evil.
orcs. Kasi you can't use orcs in
Ah, okay.
campaigns, right? Because they're evil, you can't use them.
Yeah.
So parang I think that's more of that. Tapos how wizards at that time was undergoing IRL racism parang issues din in their workplace.
Wait, are there orcs?
No, pero may racism sila na
Parang stereotyping, ganon?
yeah, tapos about a certain employee that was let go, tapos not given, alam mo yan, parang it's a very messy thing.
Yeah, but sorry, I have to be very lore based. So I'll focus on the D&D part. Like, it sucks that someone had to be let go because of racial issues, and that's kind of silly, diba? Pero back to the lore, parang wait, orcs are evil because alam mo yun, they it literally says in the lore they have this natural want to destroy things that isn't their kind, right? So parang okay, how else do how else, like I don't see it being I don't see it being racist at all.
I don't know. I don't understand it enough. Maybe I'll read more into it and
Yeah, that was parang
study it.
okay. If that's the case, how about ancient dragons? They're chaotic evil creatures, and they have sentience. Sure, they don't walk on two legs. Are we being speciesist now? Anyway, sorry. This whole it's just don't be assholes to each other, people in Faerun and in the real world.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know that it's a complicated topic that has a lot of nuances and a lot of years of study that's actually a study in itself. Pero ala lang.
I don't
Yeah.
understand it enough.
Ay, same. We can, we have resources to understand, so we'll probably look into it. Anyway, what are we talking about? Dungeons and Dragons and the video games.
Yeah. Speaking of video games, are you looking
Mm.
forward to playing some D&D video games?
Yeah, you mentioned yung anong trailer to yung
Dark Alliance.
the Dark Alliance gameplay. We mentioned this kanina, parang how it's going to look like as a hack and slash. Yes, definitely. Yeah, I'd like to see like some combat. Tawag mo doon? I'd like to see like D&D put into like as a setting na a video game. So ang ini-imagine ko parang siyang Skyrim. Tapos may mga spirit trees that are like kunyari if you're gonna go for a wizard class, right? Tapos yung parang you have okay, pagdating mo to a certain level, you're given a choice. You can either be a savant, hindi a savant. Sorry. You can either be yung mga classes, a necromantic for I don't play wizards, I'm sorry. You can be yung necromancer type, you can be yung destructive spells type. So sorry, Skyrim spells destruction, necromancy. And di ba, parang enchantment types, right? So parang I wish parang ganun yung niya, yung gameplay nitong Dark Alliance na to.
Unlikely.
Oh no! Why?
I don't think they're going too deep into that. I think it's a very straightforward character creation class.
But
Tapos
it's gonna rock
unlock
if it had
certain
those
skills.
skills.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Oh,
But I
it sucks, dude.
But they are coming up with an open world D&D game that is not this. So I hope that is a lot better.
Okay, it's open world though. So parang Elder Scrolls Online. Sorry, Elder Scrolls yung basis ko.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
I'm
hope
looking
not.
forward to that.
Like ESO,
Yeah.
but something more in depth maybe. Something more harder perhaps no to master and stuff.
Yeah. Man, that it would rock if you could like tier 1 pa lang tapos you could use accidentally enter Black Dragon Slayer. Shit! Run! Are your dogs
Yeah.
fighting?
They're playing.
Okay.
Yeah, so anything that you're looking forward to, like what are you preparing for D&D or anything that you'd like to?
Right now I'm still working on the homebrew. Like getting used to people's schedules then. Syempre I have to ask them out then on how their schedules look like. Other than that, nothing more. I really would want to become a player again. Feels like I've taken up a DM role then. Pero yeah, I wanna be a player then again.
Yeah, I'll run something soon. I actually want to
Ooh.
look for new players.
Candlekeep.
I
Yeah.
want maybe look for new players who want to learn D&D. I can run Candlekeep, pero parang Candlekeep kasi is for, I think it's more for beginners. For more one shots, so ano. We'll see.
Kaso RP, okay lang. I feel that that's okay. Pero, RP siya. Pero kayo hindi magustuhan na. Pero yun nga gusto nating hanapin yung mga RP focused. Anyway, because it's easy to learn combat in D&D. RP though, RP focused players, those are a diamond those are diamonds in the rough.
Yeah.
Tapos yeah. What are you how about you, Fonzie? What are you looking forward to? You mentioned that you'd be starting a game.
Yeah,
anything?
maybe. I'm looking to run a game soon, like a one shot maybe, or just a campaign for beginners. So I want some of my friends to learn how to play and look for maybe kung meron lang dyan who wants to learn how to play and be included in the general sense in the game or stuff. That'd be great. Alam ko nag-break pa tayo sa season break pa tayo sa
Barrio.
Home Barrio because of Luke is not here, but when he gets back, we'll
Shout out to Luke. It's been a long day.
yeah, so we need more players, dude.
Shout out to my friends who I've been asking out to play with us. Ito, one shot na to. This is a one night stand.
Mm-hmm.
It's a one-time thing, no commitments. You can opt out whenever you want to. Well, after the game, of course. Anyway, yun lang. So, yun yung gusto namin sana. Just new players. It's not that sawa na kami sa faces namin. We just really want to have other faces.
True.
I'll make some invites, Fonzie. I'll make them offers they can't refuse. Yeah, joke lang. That sounds so threatening.
Yeah. Soon. Hopefully. Yeah. So,
Alright.
anything? Where can they find you?
Oh yeah. You can find me at Carlo Geeks Out. Most likely, this video will be on that channel. And yeah, please follow it. We're on Spotify. Short rest. If you guys are driving, or if you guys just are in the CR and you don't want to watch anything and just listen to our beautiful voices instead, join us in Spotify. And also find Carlo Geeks Out in Facebook. I stream a lot, mostly to relieve stress and to give my 2 to 3 viewers a good time. Fucking follow me, guys. Anyway, how about you, Fonzie? Where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook as well.
Mm-hmm.
And also on Twitch, Fonzi Toot or Toot Gaming on Facebook. Also Tabletop Titos. We run that. We post some D&D memes and some games
Every now and then.
So yes, that's where you can find me.
Yeah. So that's Toot Gaming for Twitch then, Toot Gaming, no?
I was just Fonzi Toot on Twitch. I don't
Fonzie Toot, yeah. So follow him there, guys. Give him the subs. Yep. And give me the stars. Shout out to Dave. You are so awesome. And to everyone else who gives me an Ian as well.
Mm-hmm.
Ian. All right. So, how do we close? We have our respective worlds, our respective stressful worlds to get back to after this short rest.
Yes.
It's over probably an hour long.
Yeah. So take care, guys. See you soon.
Yeah, take care, guys. Bye bye.
A short rest with Fonzi and Carlo.